Did you notice Caitlin Clark, the photographer, right on the baseline?
Photographer?
No, Caitlin Clark, the NBA
player. Yeah, sorry, I didn't see.
You didn't see?
She was taking a picture.
Yeah, she took a picture of you after one of your. She hit on camera right on the baseline.
I didn't see that.
Do you have a relationship with her, or just?
Not really much, but I'm a big fan for sure. I watch a lot of games. Definitely her hooping it's great to watch. So for sure, I gotta go on one game to see her.
That right there is Luka Doncic, one of the NBA's biggest superstars, saying he needs to fly back to the United States just to watch Caitlin Clark play. Not wants to, needs to. He's calling her must-see television, and he's doing it unprompted in a post-game interview after dropping 45 points. When you're that good and you're talking about someone else being that compelling, people need to pay attention.
Open this up! Obviously, I've done this before, okay?
Caitlin Clark, the photographer.
No! I didn't even notice that! Oh, that's so cute! Open this up!
All right, let's take a look, man. There was a clip with LeBron James that we got to get to when he was crashing out on the refs and she was taking photos. That was pretty funny.
Watch this moment carefully. Caitlin Clark is courtside at a Pacers-Lakers game, not as a fan, but working as a credentialed photographer. The NBA broadcast crew immediately recognizes her, cuts to her on camera, and treats her presence like a celebrity sighting. She's in the off-season working a side gig, and she's still the story. That's the kind of crossover appeal we're talking about here. And notice what happens when LeBron James starts arguing with the refs. The cameras find Clark in the background, capturing her reaction. Even when she's not trying to be the center of attention, the attention finds her anyway.
Crashing out and thought it was her. She was having deja vu with the WNBA refs. Yeah, man, this is a takeover, man. This is a great shot right here. This is a great shot. You got Caitlin Clark and LeBron James, man. What a great shot, man. Luka Doncic recognizes a GOAT. I'm sure we already know LeBron recognized she's the GOAT. He already came out and said it during the rookie year when everybody was running around hating, being jealous, being petty, calling everybody racist and all of this nonsense. He said, man, I ain't trying to hear none of that. She's the one. She gonna change the league for all y'all. Period. Shout out to
Now here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just about basketball anymore. Clark is doing speaking engagements with Uber, talking about how women are changing the game on and off the court. She's positioning herself as more than an athlete. She's becoming a voice for how women are valued across industries, not just in sports. Listen to how she frames it. She's not saying women's basketball is growing. She's saying this growth is going to impact how women are perceived in business, in leadership, in every sector. That's a much bigger conversation, and she's comfortable having it at 23 years old.
I truly think
women change the game, man. CC doing her thing. Absolutely doing her thing. Look, y'all better enjoy these little speaking engagements while y'all can, because it is about to be time. It's about to be time for games is about to start. We ain't gonna be doing no speaking engagements. I tell you that. There ain't gonna be no speaking engagements going on. It's gonna be ass whoopings being handed out. Pardon my language. Because this season, the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark got big things underway, man. It is time to start cooking, people. It's time for Caitlin Clark to start stirring the pot on some of these people, and that's just what it is, man.
But all of this off-court activity is about to come to a screeching halt because the WNBA season is approaching, and the Indiana Fever have some massive decisions to make. The expansion draft is forcing every team to expose players, and Indiana has to protect only 6 players from being selected by the new Toronto and Portland franchises. Here's the problem. Kelsey Mitchell is an unrestricted free agent. Lexi Hall could be left unprotected. Sophie Cunningham is also in free agency. And then there's the rookie Michaela Timpson, who showed real promise last season. If Indiana doesn't protect her, she's getting drafted by one of the expansion teams immediately. That's a guarantee.
But everything is going to kick off with this expansion draft. Here it says the new teams will pick among players left unprotected by their current WNBA clubs, with no more than one player per existing team getting chosen. Teams have until Sunday to submit a list of 5 protected players. Okay, teams can protect players that had rights to on the final day of the 2025 regular season. Okay, any player who has 5 or more years of service.
The rules are specific. Each WNBA team submits a list of 6 protected players by Sunday. The expansion teams can then select 1 player from each existing team's unprotected list. And here's the kicker. Any player with 5 or more years of service after the 2025 season must either be put on the protected list, designated as an unrestricted free agent, or left unprotected. That means veterans like Lexi Brown and Klein Brown, who signed contracts under the old collective bargaining agreement, are stuck making significantly less money than players signing deals under the new CBA. They're watching rookies and second-year players negotiate contracts worth more than theirs, and there's nothing they can do about it until their current deals expire. So let's talk about what this means for the Fever specifically. They're obviously protecting Caitlin Clark. That's non-negotiable. Aaliyah Boston is getting protected. Those two are the foundation of everything Indiana is building. But after that, it gets complicated fast. Kelsey Mitchell averaged 19 points per game last season and has been the Fever's most consistent scorer for years. But she's an unrestricted free agent, which means Indiana can't technically protect her in the expansion draft. They can only hope to re-sign her before the expansion teams get a chance to offer her a deal. And here's where the new CBA creates a fascinating wrinkle. Toronto and Portland can each select 1 unrestricted free agent in the expansion draft, and then negotiate a supermax contract with that player worth up to $1.4 million. That's more than double what most veterans are currently making. If you're Kelsey Mitchell and you've been grinding in Indiana for years, and suddenly Portland offers you $1.4 million to be the face of a brand new franchise, what do? Lexi Hull is another critical piece. She's a local product, played at Stanford, fits the culture, plays defense, and spaces the floor. But if Indiana uses a protection slot on her, that means someone else gets exposed. Do you protect the known quantity in Hull, or do you gamble on keeping Michaela Timpson, who has higher upside but less proven production? Sophie Cunningham brings veteran leadership and 3-point shooting, but she's also in free agency. The Fever could lose her without getting anything in return. And if they're being honest with themselves, they probably can't afford to pay everyone what they're worth under the new salary structure. This is the reality of expansion. Good teams get raided, rosters get broken up, chemistry gets disrupted, and the Fever, who finally put together a competitive roster last season and made the playoffs for the first time in years, now have to figure out how to keep that momentum going while losing key contributors. The expansion draft happens in a matter of days. Free agency opens shortly after, and by the time training camp starts, the Indiana Fever could look significantly different than the team that finished last season. The question is whether they'll be better or worse, because if they lose the wrong pieces, all the Caitlin Clark magic in the world won't be enough to overcome a flawed roster construction. And that's what makes this offseason so critical. Clark can do speaking engagements, work as a photographer, build her brand, and expand her influence. But when the season starts, none of that matters if the Fever don't have the right players around her. You can't win in this league with one superstar and a bunch of mismatched parts. You need continuity, chemistry, and complementary skill sets. So while everyone is focused on Caitlin Clark taking over the basketball world, the real story is happening behind the scenes in front offices across the WNBA. General managers are making decisions right now that will determine whether their teams compete for championships or get left behind. The Fever have a generational talent. The question is whether they're smart enough to build the right team around her. Because if they're not, some other franchise will be more than happy to poach their players and try to build a contender of their own. The expansion draft is just the beginning. Free agency is going to be chaotic. Trades are going to happen. And by the time the dust settles, we're going to know which teams are serious about winning and which teams are just hoping to ride one player's popularity without actually investing in success. Indiana better figure out which category they fall into, because the window to maximize Caitlin Clark's prime is shorter than people think. And if they waste it because they made bad decisions in December, that's on them. So keep your eyes on the protected lists when they drop. Pay attention to who gets left exposed. Watch which expansion teams make smart picks versus which ones reach for name recognition, because the 2025 WNBA season is going to look very different than 2024, and the teams that navigate this expansion process correctly are going to have a massive advantage. The ones that don't are going to spend the next 3 years trying to recover. That's just how this works.